So, bitch, I crashed in my back seat for a couple of hours, and oh.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop.
Boruto episode 110 review. Alright guys, this episode was definitely a very decent episode, but I do have to say this episode got me really, and I mean really mad. And it's not because the episode was bad or anything. Mirai and Tatsumi just got on my nerves for being so stupid, like just inept at certain points. But before I get to that overall episode, of course we understand that this episode was surrounded by Mirai possibly getting to meet Asuma. Throughout this whole arc, we have been getting flashbacks, pan-throughs, even daydreams of Mirai meeting and seeing Asuma Saratobi. Asuma definitely impacted a large majority of the past generation, and of course that he's getting the shine that he actually deserves in this arc. I just wish they added a lot more action in this arc. At least we're finally going to be able to get to see some action in the upcoming episodes, but in this episode specifically, they're actually trying to meet Asuma. Of course, they found out that this hot spring, this quote-unquote hot spring, could actually allow people to see the dead. Now, once they arrive at the hot spring, some random person hops out of the woodworks, like just hops out of the bushes and was like, yo, I'll guide you to your destination. Off the rip, I'm a little suspicious. I'm like, what is going on? Because it seemed just so creepy. And of course Mirai and Tatsumi said the same thing. It seemed very, very creepy, but she leads them to the hot spring. Now, on the way to the hot spring, this mysterious female said something very crazy. She said that she met the dead before. I'm like, all right, say no more. This might actually be legit. Obviously I know the novel, so I know exactly what's going to happen, but speaking as if this is my first time seeing the episode or knowing the whole plot of this arc, she says she sees dead people. I'm like, all right, so it's legit. Now Mirai and Tatsumi go into the actual cave. There's 20 other females specifically waiting to see the dead. Now the females say they've been waiting for months to see the dead. Now I start to think to myself like, if the girl that walked them to the cave says she's seen the dead, how is she still anywhere remotely close to the cave if the last time people seen the dead was months ago? At that point, I'm like, Mirai and Tatsumi, please, let them understand that this ain't adding up. 2 plus 2 is supposed to equal 4. It's not supposed to equal 5. But it seems like Mirai and Tatsumi wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. And I don't know why, I don't know how, but they actually trusted this guy called quote-unquote Lord Ryuki. Now I do want to applaud the Boruto anime mainly because the Boruto anime in the past have been known for making the enemies not look so scary. For example, Lord Ku from the Mitsuki arc, they obviously wanted him to resemble Inoki a little bit, but I feel like this guy Lord Ryuki actually looks a little bit scary, he looks a little bit terrifying, and of course they did his character a lot of justice. Now another thing that I thought was very, and I mean very, very suspicious was the fact that there were no men there. If you guys look at the group of females, it was only females. It was a group of 20 females. Now, I'm not sure if he was just advertising all this specific stuff just for females, but I'm pretty sure there are some men out there, there are some boys out there that do want to see the dead. For example, if you guys just think about it, I mean, Shikamaru would love to see his father Shikaku again. Shikamaru would love to see Asuma again, but you don't see Shikamaru up in here. You just see females, and not even any old females either. They're usually around the age of Mirai. They're teenagers. They're basically like 15, 16 years old. And obviously Tatsumi looks younger, but she is around that same age bracket as well. So that right there seemed very fishy to me as well. But looking towards the end of the actual episode, we got to see the smoke. The females were walking into the smoke and they were seeing their dead relatives. In my opinion, I don't think that was a situation, man, because if that was actually the situation, they would have actually showed us the meeting between Mirai and Asuma. We didn't get to see them meet. All we got to see was like a shadowy figure that looked like a man. So off of that, I highly doubt that this is actually legit. Another thing is, I think this whole thing where everybody is screaming and saying that they're meeting their relatives, I think that's just a genjutsu. I think none of this is actually real, and of course Mirai's gonna figure that out in the future, mainly because Mirai is pretty much an expert in genjutsu. Now another thing that was a dead giveaway for me, you seen the ring and had the way of Jashin symbolized on the ring. At that point, I'm like, it's above me now. If Mirai and Tatsumi don't recognize the ring, even when he said Jashin, even the way Ryuki actually paused when Mirai said Saratobi, it's just above me at this point. And it's not like Mirai's completely clueless. Before they went here, Mirai actually said this is where Hidan was from. This is where her father's killer is actually from. So she should have been on eggshells as soon, I mean like ASAP, as soon as she walked into that village. She should have known that something like this could have possibly popped off. And her just ignoring all the signs, her just ignoring everything, just blindly trying to meet Asuma, it's above me now. But as I said, overall it was a decent episode. I didn't really find anything negative about it. The only thing that I really wanted to see was a little bit more action, and of course they're trying to hold off from the action until the next episode. And of course, here's one of the big things that I do criticize the anime about, man, because in this arc specifically, we've gotten to see about 4 or 5 episodes of slice of life anime. Now, in my opinion, the next episode is probably going to be kaput. It's probably going to be over, possibly even the next 2 episodes if I'm being generous. There's going to be no action scenes, or relatively a small amount of action scenes in relative to the slice of life scenes in this arc, which basically makes the arc, in my opinion, null and void. It just limits the credibility of this arc. So I really hope the Boruto writers look into that and actually see that the earlier episodes, like the first 2 or 3 episodes, could have been compressed into about 1 episode, and then span the next couple of episodes with the interesting backstory with Ryuki, and of course his relationship to Lord Jashin out a lot more. But specifically, this episode did exactly what it was supposed to do, was the lead up episodes to the next episode. And of course, in the preview, we got to see a lot of interesting things. If you guys did not see the last 30 seconds of this episode, which was the preview, I highly recommend you guys go see that. I will be talking about the preview in one of my upcoming videos, possibly in tomorrow's video, but I really do want to talk about the manga, so probably not tomorrow. So probably I'll give it about Tuesday. I'll talk about the preview of the next episode. But it's been your boy Baara B, and we out. Bye.
It's a knife.
Check my clock, I can't stop. Fuck around, make my 40 pop. No popcorn, I pop pistols. Reaming my body, clothing no issue. Bitch, you look sick, you need a tissue. You drop a body, I just might bless you. I'm metrosexual, no high cholesterol. Where's Jenny Craig? Bitch, just get sexual.